Okay, team, I just finished all the papers. It's 9 something on Tuesday night, and I wanted to give you some feedback before I post the grades. So I'm hoping that you'll watch this before you look at your grades. So overall, the papers were exactly what I expected. They range from, I think, a 74 or 76 up to a 96. There's quite a big range of student experience with writing papers. So let me tell you, I have read, I'm almost guessing into the thousands now, and graded papers, so I feel very comfortable with it. And the way I go about it is, first of all, to take a look. Oh, I can't really show you these, can I? Because it has people's names on it. But anyway, using the guidelines that say review the APA slides, using the assigned self-health assessment tool, students will appraise their own health based on what you learn, identify your goals both short-term and long-term, take a picture, and provide a 1 to 1.5 page description of what the photo signifies in relation to your health goals, as well as an explanation of what you need to do, beginning now through the semester. Include 2 scholarly references and APA format. So first thing I do is I look at the APA format. So does your title page have the words running head, colon, and then your name of your paper, your running head, so-and-so is picturing health or whatever, in all caps? Okay, yes or no? I'd say about 50-50. Is there page numbers, and is there a title page that has just 3 lines? Then I go back to the reference page and look at the references, because the quality of the paper is based on the quality of the references. So I look both at the APA format and the actual quality of the references. So that's what backs up, makes your paper a high professional quality. So then I start reading the paper, and what I'm looking for is an introduction that tells me what this paper is going to be about, that addresses the, where'd it go? The health, sorry, it's 9:30, self-health assessment tool and goals, and your own assessment of your health related to your picture. So then followed by that should be 2, 3, 4 paragraphs that are organized, that the train of thought of the paper, you can follow it, right? So my health goal, this picture means blah, blah, blah to me, and it relates to my health goals in this way. I completed a personal wellness assessment and identified these growth areas, and this is how I'm going to work on them now, short-term goals, and in the future, long-term goals. And then a conclusion where no new ideas or thoughts are added, but is simply linking the introduction, the ideas of the body of the paper, and summing it up so it has a nice ending. That was a struggle for many people. A lot of papers just we're going, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make healthier snacks. I'm gonna package my food the night before, and that's what I'm gonna do to be healthy, period, the end. So that's not a conclusion, right? Because you're still right in the middle of your paper. A conclusion really has no new ideas. It's just a summary. So after that, I look at the grading sheet, which literally is just a little checklist that I use to keep me straight, and check off and jot little notes as far as what I saw in your paper. So here are some themes. So what I want you to do, the other thing I wanted to say is, I try to write feedback, and I don't want you to feel like I'm picking your papers apart, because literally what I'm doing is looking at them like an editor, or like I'm proofreading it for you, and I'm trying to circle and underline all the things that and jot many, many little chicken scratchings. I have terrible handwriting on your paper, so that if you were to rewrite it, you would have lots of feedback. So, so my goal is to give you a lot of feedback, so for future papers, you can implement that wonderful feedback I gave you. We're talking dozens of hours that I spend reading these. Every single word on every paper I have read, because I really care about you improving, and that's how you learn, is by getting feedback. So don't just see your grade, and that's the other thing everybody, not the other thing people, like I'm referring to that way. That is the other thing, comma. People believe that everybody believes that the paper they pass in is an A paper. So sometimes people are frustrated because you put a lot of work into it. So, so take a deep breath. You'll see the grade tomorrow, and then I'll hand you back the paper, and you can review the chicken scratchings all over it. And then if you want to meet with me and talk about, you know, how I came to that number, I'm happy to meet with you. Okay, so feedback, themes, paraphrasing. So in Dr. Radsma's APA slides, it talks about not using quotes. So a quote is actually using quotation marks and citing exactly what the author wrote. In professional nursing papers, we want you to paraphrase. So you may look at a quote and like what it says and then want to use that in your paper, but you really need to paraphrase it. And the reason that's better is because you're reading information and then you're applying it to your paper, not just copy and paste, right? So along with that, also, when you're using some paraphrasing or some data from another source, it needs to thread into your thoughts. So it wouldn't be like, you know, 2 sentences and then a random quote and then 2 more sentences. You need to lead into the paraphrasing, and then the next sentence should have something to do with it, linking it together with your main focus of your paragraph. References, I think I already talked about that. So what you're expected to find in future papers is using the CINAHL, so CINAHL, which is an allied health, nursing and allied health database in the library. On the website, you're expected to use that to find current nursing journals that are evidence-based, peer-reviewed, so that when you back up your thoughts, they're backed up with quality research. So people, I think I wrote some down here. There were a lot of generalizations. I wrote generalization, I don't know, at least 100 times. So if you write, stress is a major factor in one's health. Well, maybe that's true, but who says who, right? Stress is a major factor in one's health. So how do you prove it? How do you make that a more robust statement? You would say, according to Smith and Jones, 2012, factors related to stress increase one's morbidity and mortality, or something, period. So you're adding weight, right, to that claim. Another one was, life can get hectic and sometimes we lose ourselves. Okay, maybe that's more of a, I mean, again, right? So we may all agree on that, but what is that really telling you scientifically, right? That's a generalization. I get another scratching here. There are many parts of wellness and being healthy. So that may again be true, but it's stronger to say, according to Mayville and Huerta, 15, comma, health and wellness are made up of 8 dimensions, and they are blah, 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 right? Versus there are many parts of wellness and being healthy. So that's general. We want specific. We want focused. We want evidence-based. Okay. Another thing I wrote down was, if you have guidelines to a paper that say students will appraise their own health status and analyze their findings, students will identify goals for both short-term and long-term. It pays to use those words, right? So you're following these guidelines. You can actually say, I learned based on the personal wellness assessment that I participated in, that my current health status is blah, blah, blah. Based on my personal health and wellness assessment, I have developed the following short-term goals, right? So that if you are writing a paper that you're supposed to talk about short-term and long-term goals and the word goal isn't in the paper at all, then it's not so much following the guidelines, right? That was sugarcoating it. It was not following the guidelines. There we go. Okay, so I think that, professional tone. That's the last thing. So professional tone is something to work on. It takes time, right? So when you write in a journal, you're reflecting and writing to yourself. When you write letters to your friends, or there's lots of texting and emailing now, or maybe when was the last paper you wrote, right? So it's very important to word everything in the most professional way. Let me see if I can find yet another example here. I'm just pulling out papers here. I wish I could edit this, but I don't want to do it again. This indicates to me that whatever I am eating more of, such as sugars and processed foods, as well as meat, is making less room for plants on my plate. Okay, great. That's incorporating pollen into this paper. However, how can you say it in a more professional tone? You can say, when I eat more meat, sugar, and processed food, there is significantly less space on my plate for nutritious plant matter, period, right? So you're trying to make it sound as professional and scholarly as possible. I don't feel like that was a great example, but I don't want to take any more time on this video. So anyway, I hope that you find my feedback super helpful, and I am happy to take time at any point. Just send me an email and we can meet about your paper and go over it together. I want it to be a good learning experience for you. Have a good night. Bye.